Welcome to another edition of the Motley Croc Show. It's Thursday, December 6th. We're flying. We're flying. We are just flying into the month of Christmas and everything in between. And we just got alerted that we're going on live. So cool, everything went out. So behind the scenes, I have Jimmy Riffle and Jeff. What's going on, guys?
What's up, y'all?
What's going on, everybody?
How's everybody doing? What's up, Jimmy?
We're doing all right. Jimmy, how's the cold weather up there for you guys?
It's going good. The weather's not too bad. Just been trying to get everything ready. Get on the couch. Come on. All right, don't. Whatever. But yeah, we're just trying to get everything done around here and just trying to get caught up on some stuff and
Ready
just
for
walking
that,
the door.
ready for the bash?
Yeah, I'm
Nice.
exhausted.
The Green Bash Fest. So what's
That's
up, Michael?
right.
How you doing?
What's up, Michael?
So yeah, we're waiting on Brittany Presley, and then we have someone else coming in from a friend of ours that lives down in California. I shouldn't say down, but up in California, that live right next to Mount Shasta. And there's a lot of cool stuff with Mount Shasta. So there's some interesting stories. So she was explaining that she can look right out of her window and look right at Mount Shasta, and that's like one of the most like notorious places for like. Yeah, what's up? It's like where like in the notorious abductions or lights or things happen like that. So she's going to come on and talk about a little bit of that. And Brittany has she's going to play some audio recordings of some of the real pilots that see stuff out the window that they have no idea what they're looking at. That is sent back that they have gotten
cool.
some access to. So I'm kind of looking
That's
forward
so
to a
cool.
little bit of that. So what's up, Jamie?
Jamie?
So I just wanted to make sure that we laid that out. But yeah, there's a lot going on. Jeff, you made it, and you got a little. You added a new addition to your family.
Yeah.
How's that? Yeah. Do you have it there? Do you have it there?
I could bring him out.
I think you should go get him. I think he's a cool little dude, and you should add him to the effect while being
I'm coming.
look at each other's sexy faces while we're watching. So Jamie's here. And Life Less Ordinary. That's a awesome name. Life Less Ordinary. That happens to be family of mine, but it's very less ordinary. And I do watch a lot of their stuff too. It's you got some good things going on there with the kids. But yeah, so we're going to bring some of that in, and we're going to keep building up through the night. So she'll be in. Marjorie will be on about 8:15, and then we'll go from there. So how's everything else, Jimmy? How's the Ocala weather? How are the crocodiles? What's up, Judy? How's everything going?
Everything's going good, man. I just went and picked up food yesterday. Had to let everything defrost today. We're going to be feeding everybody tomorrow.
You're going to do some footage of that? Are you going to film?
I can film some of it. Yeah, I fed a little bit to Lee yesterday. I fed her some pork and some pig meat, and she was just downing everything. So
look at him.
He's a little pissed right now that I woke him up.
I heard him. He went.
Yeah, he's beauty. I love that black throat on him. Just
awesome.
Some coconut husk.
That is so cool,
dude. I love him. He's cool. He's a plump, healthy little dude, and I'm glad I got him this small because I can work with him pretty much every day. And he's really usually very chill. He just we just switched him over to a bigger enclosure. We're waiting for some substrate to come in, and so he was in his little hide, and I pulled the plug on him.
What's up, Dan? Dude, that's actually
he's
really
like,
cool.
What the fuck?
I think it's really cool because those guys, if any of you guys have worked with them, many of them in the past, I actually have some big ones. I really enjoy them, but they mellow out as they get older anyways. And so they actually make really good puppy dog lizards. They're one of the best. We use them in the shows. I take them out. We do a lot of different things with them.
They're so chill when they want, when if they're handled a lot and socialized. And, I've held yours a bunch of times, your big ones.
Yeah, they're good. They're good dudes.
Scratches.
Yeah, what is your big one? What's your big one's name?
Mine?
Yeah, your monster. What's his name?
Dozer.
That's right, Dozer. Yeah,
this guy, massive. Me and Ruby decided on Sid Vicious for this little dude.
That's awesome.
He was just too adorable not to grab him, man. He was too cool, and this, and I was playing with a huge rhino iguana this weekend who was super chill. Just sat on somebody's table all day at the show, and it was awesome, man. I love
rhino iguanas, man. Like I said, I have those too. Cycloras are really, really rad. I absolutely love working with that species. And like again, my biggest now is a Cuban rock, and he's just rad. He's like a big bulldog. They're a lot like bulldogs. They have the same personality. You can pat on.
The rhino iguanas.
The Cuban rock. The rhino iguanas get just as big, but my biggest is a old TV. Isn't that cool?
I can't.
Let's
I
want to show you
can't.
guys
You
real
got a
quick. I'm gonna throw him
mustache.
back. I'll be right back. For her.
Shit, he was smelling his cat's ass.
That's awesome, dude. Jeff, let's see. Dan, Jeff, I just got a rhino iguana. I want you to play with it. Oh, that's nice.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he's
That's good, Dan.
I don't know if he's being serious or not, because Dan got attacked by a rhinoceros iguana and it went after him and bit him really hard and left like a really big bite shape in his face. It's pretty wild shit.
Really?
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
didn't it bite you in the ear or something, Dan? Remember you got bit by a rhino, it like bit you right in the face.
Dan, we're waiting on you, bro.
Yeah,
What's
we're
that?
waiting, Dan. Let us know.
Hey, what's up, Dan?
Yeah, but he said he's got a rhino iguana he wants you to play with. I don't know what that means. Like, I think he
Yeah,
might be talking about his
totally
genitalia. I'm not really sure.
Does that rhino iguana live in your pants, Dan? Or
I was wondering the same thing. I was wondering if he named it or if it was just
anybody but Dan, I would have thought it was a real rhino iguana, not his dick.
That's why I don't put him around you like that.
Oh shit.
Oh, there you
fuck.
go.
Yeah. Okay.
Nice.
Don't
There he
get
is.
rowdy. Don't get rowdy.
No, is that the big one, Troy?
This
The
is
one,
the big one, dude. He like takes up my whole face. What are you doing, bud? But you see what I mean? They just kind of really settle down. They get kind of mellow. Let me give you a little kiss. Is that nice? You gonna give me some?
Yeah, Ruby was already talking about getting him a leash, and
Give me some tongue.
you can walk around the neighborhood when he gets bigger.
Give me some tongue, big boy. Oh yeah, he's giving the tongue. He's so cool. Look at him. He's like, you woke me up for this.
Yeah, he's a badass though, man. He's so cool.
Their eyes are so cool. Their eyes are badass.
He's
I
awesome.
love him. I like their throats too. It's just amazing.
All right. So Cody's gonna put him back. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Cody.
Thanks, Cody.
No problem, guys.
Cody is the big animal wrangler. He's one of the best at it.
He's pretty
He brought him
damn
in because he heard us talking about it, so he figured he'd bring the big one in. I'll close the door. Go ahead. He's a big boy, so Cody went and woke him up, and we're gonna do something for sure. We're gonna cut his nails. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to stay on top of the nail cut.
Yeah, once they get the nails like that, it's like steak knives going into your back. You start to feel like Christ
few monitors.
carrying the cross. Pretty nuts those stuff. But
Yeah, definitely gonna get a little bigger than my Ackies.
oh, just a little.
A little bit. Just a little.
Yeah, I got the world's smallest monitors, and now I'm going for one of the world's biggest.
I don't feel like being a chew toy, but I would bring in one of the crocodile monitors that I have. And the baby that I've raised up is doing really well, and he's pushing almost 3 feet now, tip of tail to us now. But he was little. I mean, he fit in a little teeny little petri looking dish when I got him. So he's actually doing really good with that, and so that's another good thing. Now that we have Bumblebee Tuna here, there's a couple things I want to talk about. Brittany's going to be telling us a little bit about the awesomeness, right?
Did you get that right? Is it right? No.
No, you're over there.
Where are you, B?
But that's my left hand too, so
I
it's
don't know
all.
where B's at. I can't see her.
This
So
is right.
this week, let's talk about something for a second. So this past week, somebody stole some Galapagos tortoises from the St. Augustine alligator farm, and this will get watched again. There's a lot of people that are on here that probably already know or have seen it. So I want to make sure that I put that up. It was stolen. There were 2 juvenile Galapagos tortoises stolen from the St. Augustine alligator farm. So if somebody comes across any, or somebody tries to sell some, or you see some out there on the internet or somewhere along that, check into it. Make sure you get a hold of the people at the St. Augustine alligator farm. Give them a call.
That's awful.
Yeah, there's a bunch of great folks over there, and it's just really sad that somebody would do that. And
yeah.
I mean, especially from the St. Augustine alligator farm.
And that's a picture of the juveniles, I believe. So that's how they look, and they're young. But that's how they would look if those aren't the exact ones. That's exactly how they're going to look. A lot of people, I don't know why, but a lot of people mistake them as gopher tortoises, but they're not. But they actually look really good, and I think that we should report that, and we got to shut that down. That type of stuff is just absolutely disgusting. So they should let
the residents of the St. Augustine alligator farm take care of business on that one.
Yeah, for sure. And we should also remember December 10th between 12 and 8 is the St. Augustine Alligator Farms going to be hosting the Crocfest this year, and it's
Black
going to be
Cayman,
sponsoring
too.
the one and only Black Cayman. So,
That's awesome.
Black Cayman matter.
I knew you were going to say that too. You took the words right out of my mouth.
I figured I'd say it, Jeff. I know I can't see you guys, but I'm pretty sure we're all laughing. Yeah, so December 10th between 12 and 8 at the St. Augustine Alligator Farm. They're hosting Crocfest. It's going to be Winter Crocfest. There's going to be auctions and food, and Kurt's going to be there. He's really famous. If you don't know who Kurt is, just look for him. He's very, very slick and sexy. He'll be there. Colette Adams, Flavia Morrissey. I'm going to slide up there. Jimmy's going to be there. So we're going to get up and check some people out. I know there's going to be a lot of people there. Let's hope. And it's a big park with a lot of alligators, a lot of crocodiles, a lot of people for the right cause. And, any attitude or anything, leave at the door. We're there for a reason to hang out and celebrate crocodiles, caimans, alligators, etc.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They got enough problems over there as it is. And, people stealing from them and doing that kind of stuff. However, it's going to be, like I said, December 10th. So check it out. It's this Saturday. If you guys are going to be up in the area, definitely for sure go check that out. And, donate some money, buy some goodies. Don't steal anything.
No.
Oh my
And
God.
have a good time.
Steal some pictures. Take some pictures.
Yeah. Steal some souls with some
Yeah,
picture
I'm
pages.
bummed I'm gonna miss it. I gotta choose between that and Jimmy's on Saturday. Saturday, right? Yeah, Saturday. Because I'm going to Orlando. It's Friday.
No, we're
Jimmy's
Friday.
Jimmy's Friday.
Oh, Friday. Okay. Oh, that's good. Then I'll definitely be there because we're
Yeah, I'm gonna
Ours
go.
is
I'm going to
Friday
Jimmy's and Crocfest.
I might have to go to Crocfest. When's Crocfest?
It's
Saturday?
two.
Saturday.
I'm doing both. Doing both. Yeah.
Sweet. Well, if Jimmy's gonna be at both, I think I gotta be at both.
I'll be at both too.
Well, I'm gonna do both. I'm actually going to pick up Chain Link early Saturday morning, driving back home, dropping my truck off, and then we're hauling ass up to you guys to Crocfest. So
Nice.
That's going to be cool, man. It's exciting. Brittany's going to be on her way or at Graceland.
Yes.
Sweet. Yeah, baby.
that's right.
We're going to be checking out Elvis Presley. Now, remember, Brittany, we've got. So I'm going to bring Marjorie in at 8:15. She lives right by Mount Shasta.
Yes, which is awesome.
She has some really cool stuff to talk about, which I think is cool. I always like to. I know it's okay. You don't have to worry about that.
Can't wait to hear which room is your favorite, Brittany. I really can't. I got my favorite. It's probably not the usual favorite, but it's a place I can see Elvis sitting and doing his thing. So you'll see. I think you'll like it.
I literally have not been able to sleep. Like the countdown to this is like my Disneyland. Like I don't think anybody really understands how I feel inside. Like just the thought of stepping through the front door and looking up at that like light above. I just can't. I can't.
It's pretty awesome.
I can't.
I want to hear her talk about. She's going to be talking about a log that's like, I think she said 120 years old, and I could be wrong. That floats vertically in the center of the lake, and no one knows why.
Yeah, well, Mount Shasta is known to like have a lot of vortexes, magnetic field properties. It actually is. It's one of the most known areas to have the strangest cloud anomalies that happen. One actually hit the news not too long ago. That like it's kind of like its own Skinwalker Ranch, but much larger. It's like 14,000 feet elevation. It's unbelievable. Like, there's so much Native American, indigenous tribe history there that, there's a certain actual tribe that goes to a certain hotspot to make connections and do all these different, it's just bizarre. But there's a lot of Bigfoot sightings. There's UFO hotspots. There's portals. There's ghosts. There's voices. There's apparitions. The Green Berets were called in one time on a missing persons case when it should have just.
She said there's a really, really crazy missing persons case that she's going to talk about.
Yeah, that like Mount Shasta has. I think they're the top 2 in the nation for the most missing persons cases. And I know one of them, the car was found. The backpack was in the car, which is really weird.
Well, you better not spoil it. What if she wants to tell the story? You're spoiling it, Brittany.
I don't think this will be the one.
Glory.
This is probably the one she's talking about. This one was more private because
Rat's ass.
when the sheriff's department was called, all of a sudden the Green Beret unit came in, and they came in with rifles, and they basically told the sheriff department they were being relieved that now they were stepping in and they needed to go back home and not talk about it. And they basically took over the whole investigation. Nobody ever knew what happened, but he's been missing since like 98, I think, or something like that. Or 2. Yeah,
Really?
98. Yeah. So Mount Shasta, I love Mount Shasta. They believe that the Bigfoot get their energy from the trees. Like, there's just so much to it's really bizarre.
Well, I know when Jeff and I were young folks and we used to go to the drive-ins, we would drink Shasta. I
was going to say, that was free soda or
Shasta.
That's pretty
Got
cool.
that Shasta smile.
Yeah, I have to say really quick, we are currently, my partner and I are working on something that's quite large in the UFO community. And when we get permission to release it, it all kind of manifested last night. And we had phone calls today with the individuals that this happened to, and it's huge. So when we're allowed to talk about it, because we're in talks.
So you can't talk about it now, right? You can't play anything. Is that what you said? You fucked up?
No. I can play my audio that I have for you guys, but something transpired last night.
Something transpired.
Yeah,
it's transpiring.
Literally, it's like current in development. Like as we speak, there's more coming. We're getting videos from the event that took place, and it's.
So when do you think you'll be able to talk about it?
Next Tuesday.
Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and bring Marjorie in, right?
Yay!
And then since she's coming in, then you can play your weird UFO thing that the pirates of the Caribbean, pirates. I'm looking at myself and Jimmy and Jeff. I think pirate, but so I'm going to go ahead and bring it in, and then what we'll do is we'll let you play that, and then she can start telling her stories about UFO sightings, because I don't think she's ever seen anything or anything at all, because I think it's a lot more hoopla, but maybe she's got some better information than Mount Shasta, because Shasta's a soda to me.
It is a soda.
I'll bring it in.
First thing I think of, man.
It's a Shasta soda. If you don't believe me, look it up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll bring her in, because she's in the back room sitting there waiting patiently. And here we go. What's up, Marjorie? How you doing?
Hi, Marge.
Hey, Marge.
Hello.
All right, so Brittany's going to play. So Brittany has some stuff like actual recordings from pilots that they've been doing research with lately, I guess, and that was just released to them. So they're listening to what the pilots are seeing and describing, which I guess – from what I understand, Brittany, you weren't allowed to have that stuff before, or they didn't expose it, etc.
Right. So all the pilot reports, the pilots kept it private to themselves, because basically for their job protection. And so my partner and I are working, and have been working for the past couple months, trying to get a better program in the White House and Pentagon to basically allow the DoD to understand that they need a better reporting system. So we've been taking in the reports ourselves. It's just Ben and I handling all the report, collecting all the data, all the audio, all the emails, corresponding communications, and logging it, and then releasing audio tape and releasing the statements and sightings, and basically trying to figure out what exactly they're seeing. These things and objects are being seen anywhere between 70 to 100,000 feet elevation above where we are. And then if you go into where pilots are between 38 to 42,000 feet, it's roughly about 40 more thousand feet above them. And they think it's actually more out.
So military testing out high artillery is what they're doing. I mean, because Halo jumpers jump out of airplanes higher than that. So.
Right. But this isn't the same type of pattern. So there are some satellites by Starlink that some of these accounts we can match to, but we have outlier cases that do not match the patterns. These are objects doing their own patterns for about 100 miles that pilots are keeping their eyes on, and they're staying around one actual star system, and that's how that's working. So we have pilots and multiple pilots that have nowhere to really report this, and so we handle it. So the audio I'm going to play for you is audio that we already released, so it's already in the public on Hypo Center 101.
Okay.
And I have it to where it's transcribed on the YouTube channel, so if you can't understand a couple of things that the pilots are saying, you can go and see the recent release that we did, and it's this audio I'm going to play for you. I won't play the whole thing because it's 33 minutes long.
Oh, fuck that. Just give me some good stuff.
I did. I got to the part where we have one of the pilots call in and say, with somebody else reporting in the lights, and then they go on to talk about what they're seeing to ATC.
Sounds good.
Yeah, was that other aircraft reporting something flying like really at a high rate of speed, probably maybe about 10, 20,000 feet above us?
10, 20,000 feet.
Well, the other aircraft's north of Little Rock. He's headed the opposite direction from you. He's 1,000 feet below you. You said 776. Does that sound about right with Giant 120? Can you hear him? He must be on a different frequency. What did he say? Okay, hang on. So I'm going to put you guys on the same frequency. Giant 120, change over to my frequency 132.42. 3242, Giant 120.
So he wanted to put them on the same channel so that they could communicate they're two planes heading in opposite directions, but both seeing the same phenomenon.
Giant 120, okay, thank you. UPS 776, did you hear Giant 120 checking? Not at all, but what did they say about it? It looks like it's over that Greer's Ferry Lake. I'm not from here, but it's on our iPad, that's what it looks like it's over. Okay, yeah, I know where that's at. Been there several times. You said how high is it again? Well, it's hard to tell at the distance, but it's higher than 38, that's for sure. Okay, UPS 776, change over to my frequency at 132.42. 3242.
Now, later on in this track, we get 5 pilots on the same line talking about everything they're seeing, heading in complete different directions.
Anything out there? The UPS is at Bravo 380. He's north of Little Rock. He's about 45 miles in front of you. But he's saying he's seeing something out. I guess for you, about 11 o'clock, 60 miles or so.
Yes, sir. We've been seeing it for about the past 100 miles, and it's really interesting. It's like there's 3 of them, and they'll go across the sky, and then they'll get like really bright white, and then they'll kind of disappear again, and then it's like they're looping back around, and they're doing it again, get bright white, and then disappear. I've never seen anything like it before.
Oh, yeah, for you, we see the same exact thing. It's been following us for like the last 100 miles or so.
Woo!
Damn, that's
Was
crazy.
it an angel?
So I'll
And these
stop
are the
there.
pilots, right? These are the pilots that are talking.
So we had first one pilot called into ATC, which is the control center. That control center then will identify or unidentify or tell them if there's any objects where they are, or another aircraft possibly. When they don't have it on radar, a lot of times our ATC controllers are kind of confused, and they end up calling their managers to come down and kind of hear these reports. So you'll go further in and you'll hear the manager come down. And then like one time I had a manager say, "Are they talking about UFOs again?" And he's like, "Yes." And he's like, "All right, I'm coming down." So this happens quite frequent, almost nightly on red eyes, that they're seeing these objects, and they do what we call the racetrack pattern or a dogfight. So they'll start in a motion of rotating like in an oval shape around each other. And so they'll kind of go like this, but we have it to where it'll start rotating, and all of a sudden one will just stop, and then it will shoot out this way and disappear, and another one will drop in and circle back the opposite direction. They kind of do their own thing, and they stay in one area. And these pilots, most of the ones we talk to, they're well experienced and also have seen, like they said, we can almost clock to our watch when you're going to see a satellite. Like they know Starlink so well, and not just the crane Starlink. We have flare Starlink now. So the flare Starlink kind of pulse through the sky, but you'll see them they're on a very solid track. And then there might be another one right behind it that will fade. And
Might be. It looks like an alien encounter. Remember when he launched all those back during COVID? I thought we were all going to die. I was outside higher than Marjorie is right now, and I was looking up at the sky, and then my neighbor yells across, "Hey, you look in the sky?" And it was like horizon to horizon of satellites. I thought we were being invaded because I had no idea that Elon Musk was launching those up there. Seriously.
Yeah, it looks like Christmas lights up there right now. Well, keep your eyes on the sky, Samantha. Yeah, like the flares are really interesting. The flares, but again, you can kind of tell when it's the satellite because they really are moving in one motion. But what these pilots are seeing are an actual object that's getting really bright light, and then it's actually making a circular motion, but the velocity and speed that they're keeping is not normal to what we know as a satellite. So we have some cases that sound a lot like the new flare, but we have a good base of outlier cases that really do not match that. And we're making a video currently to showcase those cases because they're really, it sounds like Star Wars, some of them. Like it doesn't make sense.
Well, it's because it is Star Wars.
They're pretty big. Yeah.
I think those are Deathwing fighters.
Yeah. And the moon is actually the Death Star. We just don't know it. But.
Which is pretty interesting. So that leads me up to you, Marjorie. So you live where you can actually see Mount Shasta from your window, you said.
I can. And speaking of the satellites, I see them here all the time. Sometimes it's very obvious what's a satellite. You'll see it, and it just glides slightly throughout the sky. And sometimes you'll see just one, and sometimes you'll see 4 or 5, like a chain of them. And it's obvious that it's a satellite. But they're satellites. I've not seen any UFO activity out here. Surprisingly, I look at the sky.
It's not real.
What was that?
Said it's not real.
Oh, come on.
I know.
So I want to. I'm constantly looking at the sky. I haven't seen anything here, but actually, the one time I did see something was in Orlando. One day I was at the pool with my brother, and his apartment, you could see downtown Orlando from where his pool was. And everyone at the pool was looking at it. So it wasn't just me. It caught everyone's attention. It was a cluster of about, I'd say like 8 to 12 little spheres scattered throughout the sky. And they would like fade in and out. Like you could see them sometimes and sometimes you couldn't. So that's why it's kind of hard to tell exactly how many there actually were. But it was about 8 to 12, I would say. And at first, I thought that it was maybe those Disney balloons that have the metallic back to them. So what is that? And then everyone at the pool starts looking up to see what these things are, and they just stayed there. They didn't get any higher. When it's a balloon, it goes out of sight very quickly. These stayed, and they kept going in and out, and then all of a sudden, it was just all gone. So. That was the one time I think that I did see UFOs. But
that's kind of cool.
Was that daytime or nighttime?
It was daytime. It was daytime. It was like cool. 4 or 5 in the afternoon.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, that's the only thing I've ever actually experienced.
But since you're into all that stuff, what about because you live like kind of out in the middle of nowhere, right? If I remember you correctly.
I know. I'm extremely in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, so Squatch. What about Sasquatch? You probably don't believe in those. Only Brittany does. But do you see them? I mean, have you ever seen one or smelt one sneaking up in your trash?
No, I've never seen one. Maybe I've smelled one, but I haven't actually seen one. But I'm kind of like in an open field. There's not forest near me at all, so.
So you're just right out in the open sky, open land.
Yeah, open. That's why I'm so surprised I haven't seen anything. And I can see Shasta from my window and nothing. I mean, I can't be staring 24/7. Maybe I need to stare longer.
Or maybe you should set up like a live running camera in there and just like review it.
Yeah.
You know, like a security camera that logs like every 8 hours and then just kind of fast forward and view it. Maybe that would be kind of a neat thing to do.
Those game cams do really well too. The game cameras where they shoot HD, they're good. They're good cameras.
Yeah, I'll look into it. It's definitely that I have to capture something because Shasta's. It said that out of 300 hotspots on the Earth, Mount Shasta is like number 13. So that's one of the highest UFO.
I wouldn't hang out at night at your place too much in the dark outside.
Oh, I don't go outside. I'm too scared.
It's going to be like
Aside from all the wildlife I hear all night, it's just super eerie being out there at night.
Wildlife? What are you hearing out there?
Coyotes,
yeah.
Owls, birds all throughout the night, deer. That's it.
Mountain lions. Got any mountain lions out that way?
No, I'm on flat land, so again, there's not mountains.
Well, I mean,
here.
mountain lions live on flat land too, Marjorie. I mean, they're not always in the mountains.
But like, there's farms here. They're not going to be.
That's free food. Free food. I mean, Jimmy's on flat land and he sees bobcats and shit.
I've seen a bobcat for sure. What's the other? A marmot. There's a lot of marmots out here.
Oh, that's cool. Marmots?
Yeah, I had no idea what they were. I was like, what the hell is that thing? I didn't know there was like beavers out here, but
they're cute.
So. Dad.
So marmot's a land beaver.
This Florida girl is learning a lot of different wildlife from different states because I've seen things I'm not used to. So.
Yes,
definitely get some California things out here in SoCal too. Not many satellites in my area, but loads of everything else in between. So Katie St. John, she's in Southern California. So what part of California are you in there, Marjorie?
Oh, I'm like right on the border of Oregon and Northern California.
Oh, so I bet it's really pretty up there, as Brittany said there. So tell me about this log. You explained something about a log that floats in the middle of the water and nobody knows why.
That's one of the national parks that's near here. It's called Crater Lake National Park, and it's a volcano that erupted thousands of years ago. So it still is active, but it's not scheduled to erupt for another thousands of years. But there's a log that
Hope
floats,
not.
and they've carbon dated it to be 450 years old. The first recording of this log was 120 years ago. So it's literally just a log that is 30 feet tall, and it floats vertically. It floats vertically.
It's not connected to anything?
Huh?
It's not connected to anything?
Absolutely, it's not connected to anything at all. They have no idea why this log is floating. They call it the old man.
It's just sits straight up vertically in the air, 30 feet tall.
Just straight up.
Crazy.
And it's a huge log, so it should float like
normal.
Yeah, normal, not straight up. So no one knows.
Bottom heavy.
That would be, yeah.
You say maybe it's really bottom heavy and just like a ship that you know it's floating because it's got the big counterweight on the bottom. It's like the big.
How old is it supposed to be?
They carbon dated it to 450 years.
It's been floating 450 years like that? That's some
years.
crazy shit, man. It's like a Viking hot dog, Jimmy.
Yeah, and they don't know why.
I'm looking up pictures of the log floating.
It's cool, right?
Yeah, it's got to be neat. I think it's
like,
cool.
look at this old guy standing on it.
Do you ever go out there, Margie? That's cool. Do you ever go out there too?
Yeah, I went one time. I didn't see it. Crater Lake is huge.
We did too, man. It was rad.
What was that? Yeah, so when you go to the national park, you're standing on the outskirt of the top of the volcano looking down. So it's a huge lake. It's the deepest lake in the United States, actually.
So there could be a Loch Ness monster in there, Brittany. You need to start hunting it down.
Yeah, and the water is actually crystal clear because it's all snowfall water. So it's really clear.
Cold
water, cold, yeah. But
is there anything that lives in it?
What was that?
Is there anything living in it, like fish or?
They actually just found like a small little freshwater krill. So they thought forever and ever that there was no life.
Wow, a krill.
However, yeah, they just found it, like I'd say within the past 2 years. So it's a newer discovery, but
the beginnings of life in the lake.
Wow, krill.
Yeah, krill.
I think it's cool. I used to do a lot of the free diving down into the bottom of the springs in Florida. Really used to get into that. And I always found like these white crayfish with no eyes and shit. It was awesome.
Yeah, so weird. I know, it's so cool.
I mean, I know that you're not really into Florida, Margie, but
oh my God, I love Florida. What are you talking about? That's my home forever. I love Florida.
Oh, you're welcome, Holly.
Holly, I don't know where you live, but it's Tuesday here, woman.
Isn't Holly in New Zealand? No.
I don't know if it's another day there. I think that is awesome because either that or I'm just we're in another dimension broadcasting from the 12.
That's right.
Maybe it is, but would it be a whole day away in New Zealand? Would it already be Wednesday there?
Tomorrow.
Come on, Joe. My dog's in here jumping on stuff.
Yeah, she must be already tomorrow because her response.
She said fucking Wednesday, boy.
Yeah, I have to wait till tomorrow. Dang, Joe bending up all my stuff. Yeah, you can take it.
2:30 Wednesday afternoon.
She said it's fucking Wednesday, boy. I love it. That is so cool. We want to join and say hello today. He likes to get on the mic once in a while.
Hey, look at you little cute pie.
What's up, dude?
Biscuit.
Oh my God,
it's Biscuit.
so
What's up, buddy? You're say something live. You're going to say something live? You want to say live? I know that David's watching, and sometimes David likes it when the lemurs come on. I know. You're talking all kinds of
2:30 p.m.
You can't eat the microphone. You can eat it.
Wow, Holly.
You can eating it. You can't
Technically,
eat the
we have
microphone.
watching the show.
I know, but you can't do
Someone from the future.
I know, it's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's crazy,
Our
right?
day
Our
is
day
From the future is watching the show.
ending.
What the fuck?
I know, you're the best. You're the best.
She's midpoint in her day.
Holy.
Crazy.
Check what the weather's like in Florida tomorrow because I want to see.
You see him, David? I'm gonna let him go back out because he's gonna want to go play in a minute. Just want to make sure you saw him. There he is. You can eat the mic. Show him how you eat it. Eat the mic. No, you can't eat it. Good night, Bubba. I do that because David likes to see old Slash come on once in a while, and he likes to slash like
Slash
shit
is
off.
adorable. It kind of looks like
I had a
Samuel
ringtail possum hang
Jackson.
off my face this weekend. It was amazing. Really? A ringtail possum? That's awesome. No problem, David. I hope you enjoyed that. So that's pretty cool. So we have a log that floats 30 feet, so 3 stories out of the water down there. So it's in the middle of the volcano, is what you're saying, right, Margie?
Yeah, in the lake, and it just floats around, and it's floated for years. There was one story that some researchers did tie it down for, I don't remember the reason. I think it's because they didn't want to run into it while they were researching. And shortly after they tied it up, this crazy storm came over Crater Lake that was not at all in the forecast. And it was the craziest snowstorm. They couldn't get any work done. So they untied the log, and shortly after they untied it, the weather completely cleared up, and they were able to do their work. And that's the actual story.
So why aren't there some millionaires out there tying that log up again and testing all this stuff and making big storms come? If I had endless pockets, I'd be okay. We're going tomorrow, Jimmy. I'm gonna set it on fire.
So is it cursed? Is it possessed? Is it magnetic properties? Like,
can you scuba dive underneath
more
it?
testing you wanted to like find out about it.
No, I know. So the lake is super protective. So they're very cautious about who's allowed in it, how many people are allowed in it. Only 2 boats a day are allowed.
Here we go again. Yep.
Keep all
is it protected? Is it protected by the state? Is it like a state park?
It's a national park.
Yep, there you go. Freaking A. Yeah.
Go figure.
In my line of business, we come up to this all the time. All the freaking time. Yep.
Using environmental stuff.
So you can't do stuff, you can't test stuff, you can't investigate. And then if you're like, even if I was to do this for a show, the amount of contracts and the amount of people and heads I'd have to go through to get permission to even film there is such a headache, it's not even worth doing it. So even for a science community wanting to do tests, it's not even worth their time because it took years to get permission to finally do the excavation and work on Oak Island. And they still now, because of everything they were finding, they literally now had to get an archaeologist to be on site 24/7. They no longer have permission to do digging by themselves. So it's like a constant, like, because if they find something that they don't want the public to see, it has to quickly be swooped up.
Yeah, of course.
And that's what happens every time. Happens all the freaking time.
Which is so weird to me because, like, why wouldn't you want people to figure out what's going on? Like, that's such a cool thing. I don't get like why it's such
like
a taboo.
They try to save us from us.
Of the universe. Yeah, it's like they just don't want you to know. I mean, that's like I was telling them earlier. There was a story that came from Mount Shasta about the missing hiker. They found his Jeep. They found his backpack. The sheriff's department got involved. They started the first day looking when they could. It was one day investigation by the sheriffs. The Green Beret get called. Which who the hell called them? Green Beret shows up with their cars, their vehicles, their guns.
We're getting some feedback, guys.
I hear it bad.
I'm getting a lot of feedback. I think it's on Marjorie's computer.
What's that? What does that mean?
That means that it can hear us and it's coming back through. That's all. It's no big deal.
Oh, it's not annoying.
Oh, it can be, but it's okay.
Can I make it stop?
if we're just a little lower, probably, or you wear headphones plugged into your computer. I'm not trying to be a tool. But yeah, so finish, Brittany. You were saying. I'm sorry. I was just trying to see what it was.
No, I'm gonna switch out my pods too and see if it helps.
Well, I can hear it when I'm talking. So I think it's just coming back in somebody's computer. I'm looking to see if I have any noise reduction for that. But anyways, I just wanted to hear you keep telling the story, Brittany. Are you plugged into your computer now?
Yeah.
Marjorie? Yeah, now I don't hear it
anymore.
Oh, okay. So it was me. Sorry.
Thanks for ruining the show, Marjorie. Appreciate that.
Never.
That's all right, Marge. I thought it might have been my AirPods too, so I took them out.
She was just ruining it. It's okay.
Anyway, no. So all I was saying is they stepped in and took over and basically told the sheriff's department to step down, and there it went.
Yep. There it
is.
is.
There's the log.
Yeah, so I figured I would just put that up for the people watching to kind of check that out when they come in. That's exactly what it looks like. So it's been floating for 120 years, correct, Marjorie? And it's 450 years old when they carbonated it.
It's
and
beautiful.
So 30 feet underwater straight up, or is that 30 feet out of the water?
No, it's 30 feet in length total.
Okay.
That
So
looks
there's
like
probably how much you think it's
hanging
sticking out
out, maybe 7-8 feet.
No, I think it
Yeah.
said sticking out was 3 feet.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, it's not too much.
And you can't really get in that lake without all the special permission.
Yeah, I don't think so. I've seen a couple of videos of people swimming in it, but there's a particular spot that you have to go to. You can't just roam around and, you know, do it.
They don't want people scuba diving near that thing and going down and looking at it.
Yeah, exactly.
I would want to see underwater footage of that. Who wouldn't?
Yeah. Is there any?
I know, it's so cool. I don't know. I didn't see anything when I looked yesterday, but
Yeah, I don't think
it
so.
might be.
So you both have a missing person story. Brittany was talking about somebody found his backpack. Is that the same one you're talking about, Marjorie?
Well, this one, the one that I'm talking about was actually in Crater Lake. I think it was like in the 80s or 70s. 19-year-old boy was just traveling throughout national parks, and he was going to meet with his friends in Eugene, Oregon, which is like an hour and 20 minutes away from Crater Lake. So he called his friends and said, I'm gonna stop at Crater Lake real quickly. I just want to get a few pictures of it, and then I'll head right up to Eugene, Oregon. And he never showed up. So his friends called the authorities to let him know, like, hey, my friend was supposed to arrive last night. He didn't come. I don't know where he is. He said that he was going to Crater Lake to take pictures, and that's all we heard of him. So they go out to look for him. They find his car, not him. So they're looking around the park, and then they end up finding him 14 miles away from where his car was. Where they found his car, he was 14 miles away. I believe they said there was 30 inches of snow. So
It's a lot.
for him to have trekked 14 miles and 30 inches of snow is just, that's a lot. By himself.
I would say.
I don't think anyone
14
can do that unless you're
30
severely
inches of snow.
trained. But yeah, 14 miles away and 30 inches of snow. His clothes was perfectly fine. He was missing his car keys and his camera. He was dead, but he was missing his car keys, his camera. So, and he didn't have a jacket with him. He didn't have hiking boots with him. So he did not intend on going on any kind of excursion like that whatsoever.
Yeah, especially
so,
14 miles. I mean, holy shit.
In 30
Wow.
inches of snow. Like that's
Yeah.
just insane. And from
What
the
are they
time,
saying? Some alien picked him up, did a little
they
tickle
didn't
up
say
his rear and dropped
anything.
him?
They didn't say anything at all. They don't know.
There was no
You know,
body
like,
report,
alien
like no
robbery.
court, nothing, like zero.
They said that he died of natural causes.
Frozen to death.
Yeah, walking 14 miles in the snow is not natural causes.
Yeah.
You know, I got to tell you something though. I don't know
whatsoever.
if you guys, a lot of you guys know this, but there is someone he's living. They call him the Iceman, and
Yeah, the Iceman, he's cool.
he swims in like the Antarctica. He wears nothing but shorts, obviously, because he has to cover his genitalia while he's being filmed. But he does not get cold. Like he lives in the snow. He trains in the snow. He walks around barefoot. He never gets cold. He gets no hypothermia. He doesn't get any type of frostbite. It's like unbelievable, and they call him the Iceman. I'm serious. It's the weirdest thing. Like
But he's probably worked his body up and trained himself little by little to get to
I don't know.
that.
He's the only one that does that. But I mean, I don't know how you would train yourself not to get hypothermia in below zero weather.
Yeah.
Like it's unnatural. The naked skin against the elements itself. I mean, I think it's
Definitely.
Yeah, your temperature will drop awful fast when you're in water that
Rock
cold.
monitors are doing good, David, if you're talking to me.
Yeah, the Pilates does a book series called Missing 411, and it's
Yeah, I saw. Have you ever watched the episodes on that?
Yeah, he finally got a series. I was actually happy about him having a series, but the those cases alone showcase in the national parks just bizarre
How many people
accounts.
disappear in national
There's
parks? I know.
hundreds. There's
And the
thousands.
weird, bizarre accounts that follow, much like what Marge is saying with her story. It's like you've got a guy that's missing 14 miles out, not any hiking gear, nothing. I mean, like he was not prepared for this, and it's like, but
Maybe
what
you got a
happened?
piggyback from a Bigfoot or something.
Well, that's the thing. But again, it also with Mount Shasta, here's the tricky part. And I'm very open to believing in portals. So here's the tricky part with that is that if there's any kind of weird dimensional portal, it has happened at multiple other parks that have high frequencies and have these abilities. it leaves you to wonder, did he go through a type of portal and not realizing it? And you wouldn't even realize it, right? Like these portals are shifts in our time. That's all it is. People that have tried to see how the times change, right? Like if our time where you are, and then you go up to the top, right?
Mm-hmm.
In some cases, in some mountains, you can set your clock and your clock will go back several minutes when you get to the top. So it's weird magnetic.
That's strange.
Yeah. So there's things that are different about certain mountains and certain ranges that we're on versus others, right? Like certain elevations. So by David. So it's really bizarre, and it leaves you to wonder, is it, did he possibly slip through a portal and not realize it, thinking he had only walked a couple of feet and then slipped back out of it? And that's what moved his body. And because he slipped through that, did it kill his body? Like, did he die because of that? And his body was not capable to go through that type of dimension. So we have to think about those.
Snow and froze to death.
Well, yeah. Or like he passed out from that dimensional pressure. We don't know what a dimensional transfer to the body actually does. We don't know what it does because no one's ever been able to document it. The closest we got to it was through NASA, and then it was closed down in 2017. So we still don't know. We can't give all the answers. But when you find a story like this, where you have this gap of going, I want to know what happened in the time frame, the moment he left his car to being 14 miles out and dead. And we know Mount Shasta, we know the history. No, there's too much there that we already know. There's
so
weird history to it to leave all these vague things. And again, if you go to research it, you're going to be shut down. It's a given. You're just going to be shut down.
So what if you got caught in a portal near Mount Shasta drinking the Shasta? What would happen?
I don't know.
You get VIP access.
I want to know why there's a drink called. I want to know why there's a drink called Shasta. And what is the meaning of the word Shasta? Does anybody know? Because that's clearly why they'd have to call it.
Just a cool word, Shasta.
I thought the history on it was from the indigenous side. Maybe not. I thought that was from the history of it. Because I know there's a tribe there, and I know I'm going to butcher the name, and all my respect goes to the tribe.
It's a Klamath. I thought that was
the Klamath tribe.
No, there's another one that's known as the
Shasta was a tribe.
Yeah, there you go. So that's
Shasta is it's an Indian people of Northern California, Southern Oregon. There's a Shastan language of the Shasta people.
Yeah, that's Mount Shasta. No, they're called.
You're getting me laughing now, guys.
It's like Wintu. So I know I'm butchering the name, but it's the Wintu tribe. But they also go, and there's certain hotspots for them, and they do certain, cultural things because of the belief behind the mountain and the whole history of it. So there's different tribes that have so much, history there. It's. You look it up. It's amazing. In the respect of the history there that you can read on the different tribes. But what always brought me to Mount Shasta was the portals, the constant vortex, the shifts in the time, the shifts in the elevation of the pressure of what people feel in the senses. And then you have all the weird paranormal that goes with it. People have been walking on trails in Mount Shasta and then heard voices talking behind them, turn around, there's nobody there.
Craig.
So it's like, I don't know, you might and wind up in 30 inches of snow.
Yeah. I went,
Craig.
I didn't see anything or hear. We did have a really bad luck that whole trip, but aside from actually seeing anything, I didn't. Again.
Bad luck.
Yeah, we had really bad luck. The day that we got there, our dog got sprayed by a skunk, so he stunk the whole time.
You just need tomato juice, but go ahead.
Oh my gosh.
We didn't have that, so he just had to stink.
You didn't have 8 gallons with you in a tub.
And some milk.
No. We tried everything. He still stunk, so he stunk for 7 months. It was crazy.
So I found a picture of Mount Shasta, and I was wondering at what part. What part do we? You drink the green one or the red one when you do yours, Jeff?
That's the highest peak right there.
The red one's the highest Shasta. Okay. I was just wondering because there's a couple different flavors of Shasta Cola. So.
I've never heard of it. honestly.
Listen, it was a good drink. You could get it at the drive-ins back in the 80s, man. Shasta,
Shasta. Hell yeah.
Tab. Remember Tab? You
My
get
mom used to
Shasta,
drink
Tab, and
Tab.
there was another one too. RC
Well,
Cola.
I was
That
an
was
85
disgusting.
baby, so
Well, that's all right.
Yeah, that was some gross shit.
Shoot, Tab was pretty bad.
Oh my
It was
god!
like in a pink can, and they would like Miami Vice would come on, and you'd be watching Miami Vice TV show, and all of a sudden you'd get that commercial, and it would always be someone in like a workout suit, roughly socks with the Reeboks. Remember those old Reeboks, Jeff, that were like smooth leather, and they had the double Velcro top ankle.
Yeah,
Yep. And they'd be like working out, and they're like, "Wow!" And they turn to the side, they bop the fucking Tab open and slam it. You remember that? And you're like, "Whoa!" And you drink it. It was like laundry detergent and Sprite. It was horrible.
It tasted like pure aspartame. It was like super bitter and just disgusting.
Yeah, because they've come a long way with the sweetening the
with diet soda. Yeah, a little bit.
I like going to the drive-through and ordering like this big disgusting meal and then asking for a diet
Coke.
You almost feel like a real fucking asshole when you do it. You're like, yeah, I'd like the triple. I'd like the chili cheese fries with
a
two
Diet
baked
Coke.
potatoes,
double
lettuce,
cheeseburgers,
sour
and a
cream.
tab.
What do you want? Oh, 2 Frosties and can I get a Diet Coke?
You know what always reminds me of though, like when you remember from Crocodile Dundee when they like go through the drive-thru and like you can order whatever you want. And they're like, yeah, and he's like, hold on, I got a mate in the back who also wants because they're like, you don't have to make up other people if that's just what you want to eat.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
funny as hell.
I have a good time at fast food restaurants, and I've told the story before, but
I have been there.
did I ever tell you that Jimmy killed a girl by giving her a hug? Did I ever tell you
Oh
that
my
story?
God. This is like the
Stop.
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. But fast food restaurants have always been a good time with Jimmy. I mean, good stuff. We had some good times.
I still think my favorite time was when we were in, I think it was like a 7-Eleven or whatever. And it was Jimmy, Troy, and me. And Jimmy's trying to check out. And then Troy you were at the other checkout guy. And then you turn, you're like, hey, isn't that the guy from Gator Boys? That's that Jimmy guy. And you like book out the door. And then Jimmy's like, he's got this look on his face. He checks out and he takes off. And then the clerk behind the counter looks at me. She goes, Who's Jimmy Riffle? Who is Jimmy Riffle? What TV show? The Gator Boys? Who is that? Are you friends with him? And I was like, you freaking guys just left me in here to have to explain this because you just dodge it.
It happens.
Isn't that Jimmy Riffle from
We
the
were
Gator
coming out at
Boys?
one time.
Like, what
Speaking
the
of Jimmy's fame,
oh my God.
we were like somewhere like it's always in the southern United States, where they just drool over Jimmy. Like they know that the trailer's coming before it gets there. Like there's like like when they used to do the parades and everybody's on the side of the road waving at the people going by. Like I'm like, what the fuck's going on? They're like, oh, they know Jimmy's getting gas.
Oh my God.
So we like pull in and we were at this one restaurant. Here comes these 2 big corn-fed farm husker gigantic cops, butterbean looking, staring at us. I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. He walks over. He goes, excuse me, are you Jimmy Riffle Gator Boys? And Jimmy's like, yes, sir. He was all cool. Yes, sir, I am. He goes, yeah, can I get a picture of you, a selfie for me and my daughter? I'm like, what? he came over all aggressive for a selfie. It was just really awesome. And the southern United States, they know them swamp shows, them Gator people shows. They just know them. You know what I mean?
Turtle Man?
Yeah,
you remember him?
Turtle
I
Man.
remember when he started before he got a popular show.
That guy?
Yeah. He had like 4 teeth.
You know what's really funny?
And 3 of them were
started
around
on
his
YouTube.
neck.
He started on YouTube,
Yep,
I was
used to
in
watch on
Tennessee earlier this year, and the county I was in, I have to look it back up. Turtle Man had like a drive there or something, or he was from around that area, had a drive there. He had recently had surgery or had a bad accident and was recovering, and people were pulling together to like help him out. And it's like his picture was like in these things, and I'm like, what?
We do host those types of paranormal trips. The next big one I'm going to be doing will be again in Salem. And then when we do another one coming up, if we get another one booked up, depending on where you live and what you're doing, we can reach out. But, we prefer for me to go into a place where I'm not sure what's going to want to take a 9-year-old would be not a good idea. So there would be an age limit on that. But if you came along with her and stuff, it'd be absolutely fine if you want to bring her. We just couldn't be responsible for, someone under 18 years old. But yeah, she's more welcome to come, but she would have to have a guardian with her of some sort. But yeah, they're always welcome if you really want to do it. And if it's not a demonic site, it's not any fun, Katie. So.
I know Ruby would love it.
Yeah, we have a good time. Sometimes it gets really weird. I've told you we've had some really odd stuff happening. I've got some cool things here. I've had some pretty neat stuff happen here. So even here, and no, there's some stuff that's definitely going on. And some of the places we go to can get downright pretty crazy. And Jimmy and I and Brittany and everybody that was with us had a good time going to the Ma Barker house. That was actually really
dude,
good.
I'm
was
bummed I missed that
phenomenal.
one. I really would have liked to gone to that one.
Oh, that was, I mean, lights were coming on and stuff.
I'm definitely
going
to try. I'm definitely going to try.
And when we went to St. Augustine, Jimmy and I were stuck in, I mean, he knows, he felt some shit, man. We were in that room and that was weird in there. I'm sorry. When that thing came through the wall and stuck his face right over Jimmy's shoulder. That thing, Jimmy was in the very back. And mind you, we're in a pitch black. There is no, when I use the word, you hear people that say, oh, it's pitch dark. There's no such word as pitch dark, but there's pitch black. And it was completely black.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, his whole face comes through the wall, staring right beside of Jimmy. And then it looked right down at us. I was like, you've got to be kidding me right now. That was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. And they did catch it. And everybody in the room, including people who would normally never see anything, want to see that, saw that. So we're definitely going to be doing that again. I definitely want to go in there again. I
have to tell you, Jeff, you would think it would freak you out, but you're in such shock that your brain has not caught up to what you're looking at yet, to where it's almost an adrenaline, to where you're I'm in a different dimension right now. This is incredible. You just don't process really what you saw until after the incident. Like we still talk about it because
Holly,
it was incredible.
Exactly. Yeah, Holly said she would shit her pants. I'd be like, yeah, I saw a ghost.
No, kidding.
It was a paranormal experience.
Yeah, like I think Jimmy's like a sensitive in the fact when I say that, and a lot of people don't understand what I mean by that. Like he feels a lot of things. I also think he feels a lot of the emotion of what he's around. Besides holding us,
I may cry with you. I don't know. Depends.
Yeah, he's like, hey man, I feel heavy, and we're like, okay, moving there. So there's some really good things, and but you got to remember when you go in there, you got to be open to it. If you're not, and you're going to be closed off, your subconscious can build any wall you want it to it. So it's really cool though, and I know when it happens for me because the rooms move and it starts to get like you're floating and like you fall forward and you don't feel like you're standing anymore, and now you're on a whole different level. And then the actual psychic that we were with at the time, Michael Bodine, he yanks us out of there. All right, we've been in too long. And I'm like, oh, don't take me out. He goes, no, you don't want to be in it too long. It's not good for your organs. So, I mean, I understand, but it's such a high, man. It's like, I can't even explain it. Marijuana doesn't even come close.
It was weird because I was standing outside of the door when they started to get it. Troy he had already bent. He was already in the other side. And I say that all seriousness. That's literally how you project it. It's literally being bent and you've crossed
weird. It feels like you're standing on the wall. It's like you start to fall forward. Like I'm going to fall. Like, like if you were on a floor and it started to tilt and you want to back up and hold yourself, it gets really weird. Like, I don't know how to explain it. It's really weird.
It was bizarre because Michael turned to me. He's like, here, Britt, come on inside. Because apparently the kid spirit that was in there was familiar. He knew me or had known me from before.
Watch your show.
No, I investigated this building for like 3 months. So he was like,
and he legit grabbed Jimmy's shirt. And you got that? You saw that?
Yeah, I have that on footage.
When Jimmy's shirt got yanked like that in the middle of nowhere, it wasn't just like Jimmy's shirt wiggled. It's like yanking his shirt. It was the coolest thing ever, man.
And
I want to see that.
I walked like right through the threshold, and all of a sudden I felt like I was on an old sea ship in the middle of like the Pacific Storm. And I literally turned to Troy and I said, I'm swaying, guys. Like it was like this. We're talking like a door frame crossover where it's not like it didn't take any long distance. I literally went past
weird
Michael.
Sound. It's almost like noise cancellation happens, Jeff.
Yeah.
Like you go into a different sound. Like
it was bizarre. And the color of the room, even though there were no lights on, it had like a purplish hue to it. It was really, but we had completely created a whole new energy field.
Craig, it was a cool experience, dude, for sure.
That happened in that room. And then it was just like, imagine being in like the airport and you see like a lot of people moving around. And every once in a while, someone will come up close and kind of look at you and then walk away. And then they turn to shadows. Like
that's exactly how I see it.
That's
exactly how it was. And if
Troy goes, it's okay, bud. We're going to sway for a minute. And I was like, oh my God, I'm tripping.
But I remember, do you remember, Jimmy, when we were in the upstairs room and I said, there's 4 Native Americans here. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then I said, the room's bending again. And I was like, it's starting to bend on me again. And I told Michael Bodine, I said, the room's bending. Remember, he says, Yeah, like Beetlejuice. You remember when he said that, and it just like
Yep.
made the whole room laugh.
Mhm.
But that was like it was really true. Like everything got real warped. Like your whole sense of, because I don't think at that time that and I can't explain it. I have no idea what to say. And if people can think
So
we're crazy
bizarre.
or whatever, but I don't know how to explain it because there's no way to explain it. And I don't think you're seeing it physically anymore. I think now you're just kind of seeing what you think is there, and it becomes distorted. And then you can kind of see these difference. Like I didn't see like a Native American standing there with big feathers and a pow, nothing of that. You just can understand these outlines of these transparent things, but I don't see clothing and I don't see that kind of stuff. I can just see certain features and beings. But I think other times you're stuck where time crosses over. I think there's some sort of time parador, and sometimes it's not even a ghost. I just think you're at a different dimension at that moment. And I think, because when someone goes, I saw this guy, he was like a cowboy and he had a pistol. You're like, yeah, ghosts ain't walking around with pistols. There's no caballeros, dude.
He's like, back in the day, I'm going back to that time. I'm wearing all that again. Even in
you're like, oh, he died there and he took his clothes with him. He had supernatural clothes on. No, I don't believe that. I think that and I'm not saying that as you get to that level, like imagine what computers can do. So when you go to another level of your super conscious, what you're able to project yourself as may be very possible. Jeff could come back and say, I don't want to scare my mom. I'm going to come back without tattoos and be a little nicer looking. And maybe he has the ability to make himself have tattoos or not. I don't know, because the sky is broad with that type of discussion. However, when you see certain stuff like that, I think that sometimes we cross time. And I know, Marjorie, I'm sure in your lifetime that you've done something where you've actually felt like somebody was there, or you saw something out of the corner of your eye, or you may have been like, wow, that was weird. I feel like somebody just touched me.
Absolutely. I actually recently had a dream about my grandfather who passed away. And in my dream, he gave me a kiss on the forehead. And it I woke up like super startled and upset, of course. And my forehead felt wet, like where he had kissed me in that exact spot. So, and it's just like, it was the most real dream I've ever had in my life. And so when I woke up, I'm bawling my eyes out. My boyfriend's like, oh my God, are you okay? What happened? And I was like, I swear to God, I just had this crazy dream. And I feel wet right here where he kissed me. So
it's either that or they can get into your conscience and your mind has another eye. I mean, we clearly know this. We clearly know it. And I don't think it's special. I think anybody can do it. I just think you're so programmed when you're young that everything is so like fake or not real, or don't be scared of this. It's not there, that you begin to convince yourself. It's kind of like somebody let me put it to you like this. Somebody who suffers a traumatic experience, mental abuse, molesting, raped, beaten as a child, they build a tolerance to it to where they don't see it anymore. And they put it away. And so once you have that up, you're not aware of it anymore because you've blocked it away. And I think once that happens, your brain can build that stuff to protect you along the way. It's mind bending, but we only use a very small percentage of our brain. So the ability that we have and the supernatural may be different, and maybe we can cross over. So you know what? It may not have been a dream anyways. It might have been him really reaching out, and he just knew you were upset and needed to. And it might be so awesome over there. He's laughing that you're upset. Like, I can't wait till they get here. It's ridiculous that they're that sad. It's ridiculous, because it's so great on the other side. I mean, there's that too, so
your case is an exceptional case to tell, because in this field and line of work, the study of visitations and dreams is huge. And our mind subtracts that. We take that out of our head. We go, it was just a dream. I was purging my thoughts, I guess, throughout the day somewhere. I missed my grandfather. I missed my grandma or my mom or whoever it was. And so when we have those dreams, we sit there and we go, no, it wasn't real. It wasn't real. It wasn't real. A visitation dream is vastly different than a dream. You'll know when it's a dream, because whether it's the projection is something familiar, like I remember this moment in time. I'm playing out a moment that already happened. A visitation is when they come to you. They may look younger as a time that you wouldn't have remembered them at that, maybe in pictures only. But when you see them, it's them, because you're like, oh my God, you look so good. Sometimes they speak to you or sometimes they don't.
I've had that too. I've had a lot of dreams of my grandfather. And the first one I had was a little blurry. And I was like, no, I definitely know that was real. I know it was, and I want that to happen again, but I want to be more there next time it happens. So
lucid dreaming.
Definitely. So I've been meditating. I've been told to like invite him into your dreams. Like, hey, come visit me tonight, in my mind. And every time I dream of him, it's more and more and more vivid. And each time I see him, he's happy. He looks so handsome. He's always in a nice suit. And he's smiling, and he always gives me a really good hug. So it's just, it has to
when
be.
you
There's
can
no
feel
way.
it, when you can feel it, like it feels like they're physically there.
Yeah,
that's a visitation.
100%.
You need to take that and go, I know this is a visitation. And the reason why they're becoming more and more real in a sense, like more not so vague, is because you are being more open to it. You're finally taking down that natural mind and saying, I want to see my grandfather. Because I guarantee you, there's been times around you where something subtle has happened in your home or out on the road. A song has come on, a smell has hit you, a certain insect, a certain flower, and you go, my grandfather loved that. My grandfather talked about it. You see that shirt over there? My grandfather had a shirt just like that. It was his subtle signs to tell you, hey, I'm here. Open up. I'm trying to say hi to you. I'm trying to visit with you and let you know I'm here. But we're just so closed off. We refuse to see those signs all the time.
Right.
The moment you open up to them, the moment you say, I want to see you again, Grandpa, it's incredible. And you always know when it's real.
I have visitation dreams a lot with my father. I didn't dream about him for about 15 years after he passed.
Oh, wow.
And all of a sudden one night I did, and it was just how I remembered him, vivid. And there's always blue jays all the time. So whenever I'm sitting and one just kind of flies up and sits on a branch next to me, that always makes me think of him. And I'm like, maybe he sent that, or
he took that form.
Yep, absolutely. He was, he was like a real outdoorsman, and he loved nature, birds, plants, whatever. And so every once in a while I'll have one, and when I wake up, I can remember it more than any other dream that I've ever had. And I take whatever it is seriously, just in a way that I try to think about it and be mindful of it, throughout my day and so on. What the dream was about, what we were talking about, and always blue jays. I mean, I don't know if it's just I notice them more on the days that I have those dreams, but they always seem to
you're more open.
Oh, absolutely.
Those visitations open you up. They're not a dream. When we get into our deepest sleep, in our REM sleep, I think is what it's called, our deepest sleep, we are the most open. Everything about us is disconnected. That is the only way they can visit us, with an open mind and know, like, if I was to slowly doze off and then have like a slight vision, or thought I had a vision of someone, I could easily rule it out as I'm dozing off. I was purging a little bit.
Right.
But the moment you get into those deep visits, I mean, sometimes it can happen. You can have a dream where it's like you see him in your dream and you're like, wait, was that?
That reminds me of something. Jimmy, you got a cool story. Do you remember the time you told me about the story where you guys were out in the middle of nowhere and there was like the children playing and you found the footprints and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that? Like, you told me, man, it's very vivid. It was years ago, but like you were out somewhere way out into the swamps, and there wasn't it?
A buddy of mine and we went out to, I think it was off of Loop Road, down south off the trail, and we were out. We went out deer hunting, I believe, and it was just my buddy and I, and we hiked out miles and miles and miles, and we finally found a spot. We wanted to set up the tent, and we were hanging out. We called it a night. It was, we're getting up early. There's nothing to do out there. We're middle of the woods, and we're sleeping in a field tent, a brush tent. So it's a small tent, and my buddy and I were very close. And so we're in the same tent.
Who was Big Spoon, Jimmy?
Jimmy was.
So hold on. Was this the beginning of how Brokeback Mountain was written? I'm just curious.
Hey,
leading up to
something,
what? Jimmy.
We won't go there. We won't go there. You all can go fuck yourself too. But yeah, we started hearing like sticks breaking, and we started hearing all these different effects. Then, I mean, okay, don't get me wrong, we are out in the middle of nowhere. We're miles out. And then we started hearing, we're in Big Cypress. and we started hearing like laughter, like kids laughing, but it was kind of in the distance, but there's no reason for any of it to be around us. I mean, we're far out. So we go out of the tent and we look around. It's dark. We don't see nothing. And we get back in the tent and we hear more sticks breaking. The tent moved a little bit and shit. And my buddy and I looked at each other and we're like, okay. We're like, what the fuck?
I can't get comfortable.
We ended up leaving everything there. We grabbed our guns and we hiked all the way back to the truck. And this was miles. We hiked back. We slept in the truck that night. And then we went back the next day. And there was little footprints around the tent. And you know, after we talked to a few people, they think we were in the middle of like not far from an Indian burial ground, and they don't really know. But if you go back to mythology and like different studies that, you know, the Seminole lore that they talk about, you know, that type of thing happening. And I have a book somewhere with it in it, and experienced that and other things. And that same day we got followed by a black bear all day. And we ended up staying out, tearing down camp and hunting, you know, the full day. But we don't know. The bear was just keeping his distance and just followed and like
crazy
walked, you know. It was weird. I'm going to tell you one thing. I am never going to camp back in that damn spot again.
I would love to go. I'll go with you.
I'll go.
I don't think, honestly, dude, I don't think I can even get you back there, honestly.
Maybe it was a crazed fan in the bear suit.
Or
maybe the bear on cocaine.
Oh, the cocaine bear. Yeah.
Cocaine bear.
Yeah, there's so many weird things in the woods that happen.
Especially there.
Countless numbers of stories.
I've heard a lot of ghost stories from Loop Road. People seeing like apparitions and stuff like that. Supposedly there's all these old things back there, like supposedly there's old like speakeasies and stuff in Big Cypress that are not too far from Loop Road. There was rumors that Al Capone had a speakeasy there, and all these gangsters and stuff. I don't know, you know, how the validity of it, but I know a lot of people that I used to be in the Python program with that would be out, you know, by themselves in the middle of the night. And anybody who's been on Loop Road in the middle of the night, if you turn your headlights off, it is dark.
Hell yeah.
It is fucking dark.
Yes, it is.
You know, and it's nice because sometimes I go out there and I turn the lights off so I can hear the frog chorus, because when the lights are off, it's so much nicer, you know. And you know, it's a far cry from hearing the Cuban tree frogs outside of my house, like stretching rubber bands. And when you turn the lights off, there's just nothing. And if I've been by myself, it freaks me out a little bit. I have to turn the lights back on because it's so dark. You couldn't see somebody.
You can't even see your hand like this close to your face. You can't see your hand if you're an inch away.
Oh yeah, I've held a piss to get off Loop Road, so I didn't have to fucking get out of my car when it was like black.
Bro, I would have just fucking stood out the window or something. My foot on the.
That's not a bad idea. While you were driving.
Hell yeah!
You remember when we used to put my car in cruise control and ride on the running boards?
Yep. I do remember that.
On the levees too. Yeah, that could have probably been pretty dangerous now that we think about it.
Yeah, but it was good. You know what I liked about Jeff though? There's a lot of people out there right now, and I'm sure some of you look at them, but they'll go out like they want to protect wildlife or they want to have wildlife. But when they go out and they what is that song? I need a hero, all that kind of stuff, and they build their video up.
Montages.
Okay? Yeah. Of catching these big snakes and then running the importance and the dangers of this. You're just fucking yourself when you do that. You're just fucking yourself. You're fucking everybody else because you're scaring them with the 3 snakes you found.
Yep.
That are so fucking far out. And a normal person isn't going to be out there anyways. And they make these, and then they complain, well, they're trying to take away my rights to have a pet snake. Well, you just made a montage of the same snake. You caught one. Made it look like you caught it 11 times. Right?
Yeah,
and then you made your hero. You're an Everglades hero. You're a hero of Florida. You're a dick. You're a fucking dick. And all you do is ruin everything for everybody else. And then you pretend you're like this big science. It's stupid. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Go out there, hunt the snakes. If you find some, keep it to your fucking self. Turn it over, whatever. don't publicize that demonizing of a specific animal, because forget it. Hogs and cats are the worst in the state of Florida.
Hogs, man.
Hogs and cats are the most invasive animal here. We should have open rights on cats. High protein, good furs. We could keep the bums warm, and we could feed the crocodiles with cats.
There you go.
They catch one snake, they demonize it. Now you got old people, and I'm telling you.
Well, they
every
line
time
them
I'm
up
at a show,
too.
you get an idiot. Hey, where can you go down and find those prehistoric sized snakes that attack people? Nowhere.
People ask me all the time.
Nowhere.
I'm out there, and I'm like, I quit the program. I'm done.
God.
There was a contractor that worked for the district, not for us at Fish and Wildlife, and he would like post pictures. It's still up of him with like 6 or 7 pythons lined up with bullet holes in their head, and he'd have his like sidearm on with a silencer on it. He was a tool. And then it ended up that he shot a horse that had been out there roaming around for a while, and that kind of was his downfall. But I don't think he ever got in any kind of trouble.
What are you shooting a horse that's minding its business?
Yeah, he just went up and shot the horse, and
oh my God,
about it.
Hey, I like the heroes now that shoot the iguanas and actually shot a guy right in his ass cheek by a swimming pool, shooting a 22 across an iguana.
Yeah, it's because iguanas are the most dangerous creature in South Florida.
Oh, I'm telling you, yeah, they're ruining the ecosystem. Listen,
you can't get near a damn iguana.
That thing has been established here since the 1950s.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I love the iguanas.
Well, a lot of people protect them now.
I'm not gonna lie.
So ridiculous.
They protect them, Jimmy. You know, right? They protect them in South Florida.
Yep.
They need to.
Yep.
Dumb.
I love watching.
I will tell you this, Jimmy. I just saw. There was two things. And where you used to live, your neighborhood in South Florida. I just saw a record where they caught an 7.4 foot spectacled caiman and a 6.5 foot smooth front.
Wow.
I know that's the one you had a picture of. I fucking
You're out there.
No.
That's the one that I showed you that was laying on the bank?
They caught one, and we always thought that was a smooth front, a curviers, and they caught one just recently.
No shit.
I just looked at a report. Yep.
Well, I just looked at something too. I saw someone post something that down in South where I used to live too, they caught a young Morlet's crocodile too.
Yep, I saw that.
I saw that too.
And I thought was a Morlet, but I mean it could have been the Curvers, but I don't know. I just thought it was
no. They caught that too. They caught that too, but they caught a dwarf caiman, a big one, like a 6 foot dwarf, which would be the trig. Now, you're not getting if you find a palp that's 6 feet, I'd like to see it for sure. But yeah, so I thought that was kind of neat that's down there. But listen, people let crocodiles go all the time. And most people don't know the difference, between an American and a Morlet's to the naked eye. Unless you really know what crocodiles look like, you're not going to know. I mean, the last time I saw Marjorie, she was in my pool swimming with alligators.
I was.
I know, years ago.
That was a long time ago.
Now, and you wouldn't know what it was if I gave you a croc or whatever. It would just be you were swimming with an animal. So, unless you really know the difference, you don't know the difference between a Morlet's croc and a American croc.
Most people don't know the difference between Morlet's croc and an American alligator.
Bro, they caught a fucking American croc in Sarasota and thought it was
they were getting up, like further north.
They thought it was a caiman. The sheriff's department sent me a picture like, hey, can you do anything with this? I got the picture. I said, listen,
let it go. It's an American croc.
I think you got to take that back and let it go wherever you got it. And they're like, well, we can't release it. I said, that is an American crocodile. It's native. You better contact the Croc Docs. It was beautiful, Jimmy. It was about 5.5 feet long, olive green, beautiful.
I love those things, man. I love American crocs so much.
Flawless. That's it. Taj. I still have him. Yep, that's Taj.
You do? Do you have the emu still?
Yep.
Oh yeah, I saw him the other night for the first time since COVID.
Yep. He's huge. He's like a little over 6 feet.
Ruby's been asking about Izzy.
I love that bird.
Yeah, he's a cool bird. Isbom, he's still cool. Every now and then, like he gets scared, jumps the fence, swims in my pool, and then goes back. It's weird.
What about the snapping turtle? Is it Kong?
Yes.
Oh, Kong.
Kong, he's still around.
I have pictures of Kong. He's scary. That was scary. I was intimidated
cool
for sure
animal,
swimming with. It was super cool, but definitely I was a little nervous
he's
when I was.
Now he's like a gentle giant. He comes up and eats out of your hand. Jimmy, don't you have two? One's kind of snappy and one's gentle.
Yes.
Your bigger one's a lot more gentle, right?
Oh, the big one I can hand feed all the time.
Yeah, that's what I do with
Let
Kong. I
him-
go, come here, Kong. He like gets up. He's like Fat Albert. He slides over real slow, sticks his head out of the water, and opens his mouth to someone. Now the younger female I have,
I remember
she's
that
like a
one.
drunk girl at Taco Bell. You got to watch your goddamn fingers. I mean, so I got a female. I had to get an amendment, so I got
love
a
Kong.
female, and she just, man, the minute something touches the water, dude, this giant, because she's big too. Not as big as Kong, but she's big. But this head comes out just pit bull fast, trying to yank something out of your hand. So you got to be real careful with that. But I'll send you a video I posted, Marjorie, of feeding a whole turkey leg to Kong, and you just
Oh my
swallow
God.
it whole.
Yeah,
It's
for
really
sure.
cool. He's a cool animal. But
Was that his Thanksgiving? He was like,
yeah, but this was years ago. I gave it to him. I gave him a whole bird. This year he got a whole bird.
wow.
Like he'll eat the whole thing. Like he'll
He
eat like
deserves it. He's a good
he can
boy.
eat about 5 game
He is a good
hens, or
boy.
you can give him 2 whole chickens, and he'll consume the whole thing. It's just,
How often you feed him that?
I probably feed him about twice a month, a real heavy meal, because if you do it too much, he stops coming over. He's like, no, man, I'm digesting. Or I'll watch. I have
Like
these
this
vision
shows it
windows
off.
and the lights on him. And if I see him sitting, he'll open his mouth real wide. He's saying, hey, I'm hungry. I get him a big meal.
That's
Other
awesome.
than that, if you go in there, he's like, you could lay a big fillet steak on his head. And if he's not hungry, it's just going to drape over his face for days. He won't move, because that's just how they are. They're my favorite
He's so
turtle
cool.
of all
Alligator
time.
snappers, yeah, they're
Of
very.
all time. And they're like not real. They're like an alien almost, man. I mean, Jimmy, they freeze in the weather and freeze up into ice and then thaw out and come back to life, dude. Like they resurrect like Christ. It's ridiculous.
I don't have to worry about
Christ
him at
turtle.
all out here in the cold weather, which is
I
so
never
nice.
take Kong. It's 28 degrees and Kong's out there looking around. I'm like, hey, buddy. I mean, it gets cold in Florida. We get into 20 sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I put my my tortoise in the shed with a heat lamp.
I do. I bring
Loves
the tortoises are different. They can't.
Yeah.
Oh
They'll have
yeah,
top
yeah.
cold.
Certain animals I have to bring in, but
Russian
there's
tortoises,
certain
Jimmy, you don't
animals
have to
that-
worry about. They don't start having sex till it's 38 degrees. I'm telling you, heloderms are the same thing.
He's
So
shaking too hard.
Beta lizards and Gila monsters, you have to put them in a wine cooler, bring them all the way down into the 40s, low 40s to even get them to want to have sex.
That's what I do
You
with the
can't breed
hogs.
them until you get them ice cold. It's a
My
weird
hogs are
thing,
in the cooler now.
right? You got to
breed 'em.
cool them. So
Yeah.
even the beaded lizards and
kinda
stuff like that, the
50.
those Russian tortoises, you'll never have to bring them in, Jimmy. Never. I saw those things on videos, looking them up in Russia with snow, little grass sprouts sticking out of snow, and they're out there grazing, crawling around the snow. I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Gotta eat. Tortoise gotta eat, man.
You do that with an African species, it touches the snow and dies. It dies.
Yeah, no doubt,
Yeah.
man. Shocked.
So anyway,
I don't have anything that stays outside in the cold yet, but once I get a place, a new house, and alligator snapping turtle is definitely on the list, man. I'd love one.
yep, you just go, you got to apply for them, and somebody will have one somewhere, and
Yep,
they give them. It's such a ridiculous. They're not endangered, but whatever, it is what it is. There's so many of them. Like Jimmy's friend, one of the guys from the show, he owns Satu Reptiles up there, like Scales and Tails Reptile Center or whatever.
Oh, okay.
He's got baby alligators for sale right now in Ohio.
Yep.
I gotta
Yep.
send my stuff in, man.
He sent me, he's like, oh,
baby.
babies. I go, yeah, I can't do it. Thanks, though.
I should pay Ruby like $100 to write out all my hours, man. That's the only reason I haven't sent it in yet.
That's
The
all right.
organizer
Just have,
write it
just
out.
have them write it out, man. Get it done for sure.
Yeah, I want to, man. I was hoping to get it in while Joel was still around, but you said the new inspector's pretty cool. So
Yeah, you'll have a good time, and you got to get it in and stuff. Just put your hours and turn it in. And like I said, they don't inspect anything like that. They once your hours are turned in, they verify it. They'll come out. All you need is a
same with my
40-gallon aquarium,
my
dude, and that you're set up for babies, and that's your goal. That's it. That's all you got to do. Jimmy knows it's easy.
Nice.
They're pretty. If they know you and you got a decent reputation, you're okay. You know what I mean? They know Jimmy.
sir.
They're not going to mess with Jimmy because he knows the laws. We know the laws. That they're pretty good about. I think they just don't want to deal with any idiots, free handlers, and people making love to snakes and venomous snakes. And things like that. They don't like that stuff.
No making love to snakes.
That's right. You can't kiss them. Can't kiss them.
I've been witness to some kisses. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I've seen some that I don't know why people do that. But anyways, Holly said bucket hats and a punch of only tobacco reminds me of my grandfather. And then Craig Warren said, well done, B. So, yeah, that was cool, Brittany. Thanks for bringing that on. Margie, thanks for sharing those stories. See, it was pretty cool. I'm glad that you came up and brought those. That's neat to know about that log. That's something I never knew about. So that's really, we learned something new today, and I really enjoyed it.
Road trip?
Definitely.
Yeah.
You should come out, please.
Yeah, drive out west for it. Jimmy and I went all the way to LA in a convertible Mustang from Ocala.
Nice. Oh, you know what I was going to say? When I moved here, I drove from Florida to here. And when we were, God, what state were we in? Driving through in the absolute middle of nowhere, it looked like Mars. We drove past a sign that said government experimental area, like out of no trespassing. And I was
Probably
like,
New
wonder what's going on in there.
Yeah, definitely New Mexico.
Spots
It was
driving
in the
through New
middle of
Mexico and through
nowhere.
Arizona, Texas,
No, it was hang on.
Montana.
Might have been Idaho. Might have been Idaho. But it
Idaho's
was just
growing potatoes out there.
Idaho. Yeah. They
It
don't
was
like
just-
Jews in Idaho, so it's
it's in the
Yeah, Jimmy and
absolute
I have been
middle
out
of
some
nowhere.
long ass places like that. We've been some long stretches. I wonder what they do
Yeah.
out there.
Oh,
I
yeah.
pulled into a
Yeah.
gas station on a Croc Star tour one time, and I said this before, but I'll say it again. Me and Flavia, and I don't remember who was with us, but we pulled into a gas station, and they had this African American dummy hanging from a noose in the front of the building. I said,
Was that in
I don't
Florida?
think we need to be here, Flavio. I think we'll just keep on going. This was in the South. I have a picture of it.
Jesus.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what
Oh my
that
God,
is.
that's
I was
awful.
like, yeah, not a good idea. And so
I
we
wouldn't
just
even say
rolled on
Flavio's
down. I didn't
name
want to
out
stop there.
loud.
Who was going to stop there?
Flavio.
True story. I'll never forget that. It stuck in my head like it happened yesterday.
That's
Oh, dude, that's
terrible.
I didn't want to get out of the
Spots
van
like
there. I'm like,
that.
I'm not
Not,
getting out
you
of here.
know,
I'm not getting out of here.
Hell no. I'm just gonna
You
keep
kidding me right
going.
now?
We'll
I mean,
see.
most of us are white dudes in that car.
Nope.
I'm not getting out.
Mm-mm.
That's like that in
That's
Virginia.
awful.
I've seen some stuff. Minnesota, Virginia, me and Jimmy have seen some stuff. We're not going to get into it, but we've seen some stuff.
seen some things.
But anyways, at the end of the day, I had a good show. Thanks for coming in, Marjorie. I want everybody just to stay put. I'm just going to log off. Everybody who came on, and Samantha said they were testing their potato gun.
Potato guns.
Probably what they were doing. It was an Idaho.
Yeah, definitely.
Idaho
I should have
Spud
thought
gun.
of that.
the spud
I
gun.
think.
But I appreciate everybody coming out. We'll be back again next Tuesday. And thanks for joining tonight. It was a lot of fun. We had some good stuff.
And hopefully
Brittany
I
said-
can say more next
Yeah,
week.
Michael. And
'cause
Brittany said hopefully she's going to be able to talk more about the
Yeah,
project.
that-
unraveling right now. So we'll
Thanks for
see.
bringing out what you could.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so that's going to
sure.
happen. So that's kind of cool too. So I'm pretty excited. So I'd like to say thanks again, and we'll see everybody next week. And